Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi. For years, Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, the founder of ISIS, lived in fear of being caught. People close to him said he almost always had a suicide vest nearby, and sometimes even slept wearing one. He only traveled at night, wore disguises, and kept a very small group of loyal guards. They avoided using phones so they could not be tracked. He often hid in the deserts of Syria and Iraq, crossing borders in secret by dressing up like a shepherd to avoid being recognized. However, by late 2019, his power was crumbling. Many of his closest men were dead, and intelligence just discovered he was hiding in northwest Syria. A raid was planned, but to reach the target, American units had to fly through airspace controlled by Russia and Turkey. This was one of the few instances where they all collaborated. In the night, helicopters carried U.S. Special Forces toward a small compound. They landed, and the assault began. Inside, Baghdadi tried to escape into a tunnel, but he had no way out. Military dogs chased him, and knowing he was trapped and seconds away from capture, he set off the suicide vest he was wearing. The blast killed him, and unfortunately, he had 2 children with Abu Nidal. Abu Nidal, one of the world's most feared Palestinian militants, had one of the most controversial deaths shrouded in conspiracy theories and different accounts. He was living quietly in Baghdad in the summer of 2002, and his network had carried out assassinations, hijackings, and bombings across the Middle East and Europe. However, by then, his power collapsed and he was basically just hiding under Saddam Hussein's protection. Then in August 2002, Iraqi intelligence officers came to his apartment to take him in. What happened next is still disputed. The official Iraqi version said that when officers arrived, Abu Nidal asked for a moment to change his clothes. He then went into his bedroom and a gunshot followed. They gave journalists photographs of the body and a medical report which said that he died in a hospital after about 8 hours. However, other accounts quickly surfaced. A Palestinian newspaper reported that he had actually died from multiple gunshot wounds. Palestinian sources believed that in reality Saddam Hussein had ordered his killing, not just a simple arrest. A magazine offered yet another version. According to its report, Iraqi intelligence raided Abu Nidal's home after discovering secret documents about a possible U.S. attack on Iraq. A fight then broke out between his men and the Iraqi officers, and in the chaos, Abu Nidal was killed. This might have been because Saddam wanted him eliminated before any American invasion, fearing he might turn against the regime. Years later, another report claimed that Iraqi officers had been questioning him in his home as a suspected spy for Kuwait and Egypt, and indirectly for the United States. According to this account, the Kuwaitis had asked him to look for links between Iraq and al-Qaeda. Ayman al-Zawahiri. For more than 2 decades, Ayman al-Zawahiri was one of the world's most wanted men. He was Osama bin Laden's deputy during the September 11 attacks and became leader of al-Qaeda. After bin Laden's death in 2011, several times reports claimed he had been killed in airstrikes in Pakistan or Afghanistan, but each time he reappeared in new videos, keeping the hunt alive. By early 2022, though, this stopped. U.S. intelligence discovered that Zawahiri had moved into a house in Bulls Sherpur neighborhood, one of the richest parts of the city. Then for months, American agencies kept track of his routines, and they noticed that he had the habit of stepping onto the balcony. The information went all the way to the White House, where President Joe Biden debated for weeks before giving final approval. The decision was especially delicate because, being in a crowded city, the risk of civilian casualties was high. The weapon chosen was unusual. The R-9X Hellfire missile, nicknamed the Flying Ginsu. Unlike standard missiles, it does not explode. Instead, it kills by direct impact and by releasing sharp metal blades designed to slice through the target without destroying the building or killing bystanders. At sunrise on July 31, 2022, a CIA drone fired 2 of these missiles at the balcony while Ian al-Zawahiri, then 71 years old, was standing outside. The missiles struck with precision, killing him instantly, and no one else in the house was harmed. His death ended one of the longest manhunts in history. And the day after, President Biden addressed the nation saying, "Justice has been delivered. This terrorist leader is no more." For the United States, it was the biggest strike against al-Qaeda since bin Laden's death. Abu Musab al-Zarqawi. For years, Abu Musab al-Zarqawi was one of the most feared militants in the world. He was a Jordanian extremist known for personally being hostages on video and organizing suicide bombings that destroyed markets, mosques, and even embassies. U.S. officials blamed him for thousands of deaths and put a $25 million reward on his head, making him one of the most wanted men alive. Even within al-Qaeda, some leaders grew tired of his obsession with killing Shia Muslims, saying it hurt their cause. The hunt for him stretched across months until a captured member of his network gave up clues to the Jordanian authorities. They passed along the information to the U.S., which kept a close watch on a safe house near Baquba in Iraq. When Zarqawi finally walked inside, the order was given to strike. 2 U.S. Air Force F-16 jets flew over the village and dropped 2 500-pound guided bombs on the building. The blasts tore the house apart, killing most people inside instantly. But Zarqawi did not die right away. When American and Iraqi troops searched the rubble, they found him alive, badly wounded, but still conscious. Witnesses said he tried to move and even attempted to get off a stretcher before soldiers restrained him. Minutes later, though, he died. An autopsy showed a large chest wound and severe blast damage to his lungs. Doctors believed it may have taken him close to an hour to die, making it a pretty slow and painful end. That brief survival time sparked rumors. An Iraqi witness claimed U.S. soldiers beat him while he lay dying, but the American military denied this, saying medics were trying to save him. Anwar al-Awlaki, born Anwar al-Awlaki in the United States and later moving to Yemen, Anwar al-Awlaki became one of al-Qaeda's most powerful figures. What made him most dangerous was his fluent English and his grasp of the internet, which allowed him to reach Western audiences through propaganda in ways Osama bin Laden never could. He was linked to several major attacks, and by 2010 his name was officially placed on the CIA's kill list. It was a historic and controversial decision because it made him the first U.S. citizen ever approved for targeted killing. President Barack Obama personally authorized it, even as critics argued that killing an American without a trial was illegal. For years they tried tracking him down, until they eventually found him and sent a drone to kill him. He was in a car, and the drone opened fire, killing most people inside the car. However, al-Awlaki himself survived. They also tried eliminating him through air raids in Yemen, but he survived those too. Then, on the morning of September 30th, 2011, his luck ran out. Witnesses said that he and his group had stopped to eat breakfast, and not long after, a U.S. drone spotted their convoy. One of the cars tried to escape, but it was too late. Hellfire missiles slammed into the vehicle, killing al-Awlaki instantly. 2 weeks later, another U.S. drone strike killed his 16-year-old son Abdul Rahman, who had traveled to Yemen to look for his father. Vallupillai Prabhakaran, founder of the Tamil Tigers, also known as LTT, had once controlled vast parts of northern Sri Lanka. For over 25 years he waged war to create an independent Tamil homeland, and under his command the Tigers pioneered the use of suicide bombers, assassinated prime ministers, and fought government forces in one of the longest insurgencies in Asia. By May 2009, though, the Sri Lankan army had cornered him and his last fighters on the banks of the Nandi Kotal Lagoon. Many were ordered to burn or destroy Prabhakaran's body if he died, to prevent it from being taken as a trophy by the enemy. At dawn on May 19th, Sri Lankan troops advanced through the mangroves. For 2 hours, they fought against Prabhakaran and roughly 30 of his bodyguards. By the end, every one of them was dead. Among them was a man wearing a dog tag marked 001. He carried 2 pistols, a rifle with a telescopic sight, a satellite phone, and medicine for diabetes. The colonel confirmed it was Vallupillai Prabhakaran himself. His body was displayed on national television, and official reports said he had been struck by shrapnel during the battle. However, the exact cause of death soon became the subject of dispute. Some witnesses claimed he had been captured alive and executed at close range, pointing to a head wound visible on his corpse. Others said he had killed himself rather than surrender, keeping his promise that he would die in honor rather than be caught alive by the enemy. What happened to his family added even more controversy. Reports circulated that the bodies of his wife and daughter had been found near the battlefield, though the army denied this. His 12-year-old son, Balachandran, was photographed alive in custody sitting in a bunker, but minutes later he was dead. This fueled accusations of execution and war crimes.